Don't blink, it's your boy Ing. Welcome to another video, welcome to another show. Because we're having a fantastic 12th July 2024. The subject of the day is a heavy one. Yet we did a subject yesterday that was religion. There's no shift in the content, it's still ink, it's still me. But again, it's all the perspective, it's all a question. This channel is basically my life, it's basically a diary. Basically having conversation, thinking out loud, a question of opinion. I don't do politics. I didn't do religion. We did one video yesterday. One video in 3 years. We're not gonna become a religious channel. However, the subject we're doing today is another subject that is kind of heavy, more on the heavier side. I'm trying to find a way so you guys can. Okay, that's pretty good actually. That's pretty good actually. Trying to find a way where you guys have this beautiful, this this below average face with a nice mustache, right? And today the subject of the video is forgiveness. And I know what you're saying. Oh, it's a tough subject. That's a very heavy subject because we're all different. Every single person is a different person. Every single situation is a different situation. How can you generalize forgiveness? How can you talk about forgiveness without going into pure details? There's a simple law when it comes to forgiveness. Think about values. Think about what makes you happy. Think about your morals, right? That's really important. They're different. They apply differently to certain situation. You're gonna react differently to certain situation. You're gonna have less moral when you're angry and more moral when you're in a position of authority, hopefully. And you're in a position where you ask yourself, when should I forgive something? So first of all, forgiveness. What is it? It's forgiving somebody. I rarely see. Forgiveness is more aimed at people. I rarely see it for a situation. I rarely see for a group of people. It's more so for a person. Can't remember, and I'm challenging you to remember the last time you forgive a group of people. It's been a while, right? So forgiveness is let's go by the obvious, right? So you're gonna be wanting to forgive close friend. You want to forgive family member. And I get that this is wrong. I get that this is seemingly wrong. It's funny because we just did a Prime video, Meta Moon videos. Then we talk about forgiveness, right? Which is kind of related and kind of why I'm doing this video. A lot of people are gonna say, hey, you shouldn't forgive people just because you're your friend or your family. And I totally agree with that. You shouldn't forgive people because they're related to you or relate to you by blood or by bonds. But technically, nah. Because technically, right, most of your family are going to share a lot of your ideal. Most of your family are going to be sharing a lot of your morals. You might not see it, but there's this similar interest. And even if this similar interest is simply a question of growing up in the same environment and being faced with the same problem. Oh, we didn't have enough money to pay for the electricity bill this month, right? So what are we going to do? Well, we're all facing that problem together. We might act differently, but we're faced with the same situation, right? Forgiveness is complicated. You wanna forgive people that are close to you, and why you should forgive? Why you should be more open to forgive your friend than anybody else? Well, they're your friend for a reason. Technically, you're gonna have a bunch of friends in real life. You're gonna have 100 of friends, and they're all gonna be shitty. And then you're gonna have an handful that are really good and they're your friends for life, right? I can actively think about 4 people in my life that have been there, rain or sun. I've been never picking it up, and I tend to focus more on family. I'm extremely lucky by being unlucky. I don't have any siblings. I have parents, and my parents, I know they're acting in my fashion. I might not agree with them most time, but I do know that they're working towards me becoming a better person, and that's a blessing. They made me, they raised me, even though we might not have agreed. I can't be mad at that, and I have to forgive them because again, their perception, even though they're not mine, their perception I grew up with. See, I think forgiveness is also a part acceptance. I'm acceptant of the fact that we have different values. I'm acceptant of the fact that we have a different opinion on said subject. I'm understanding of the fact that you're a person that I know that you're gonna react like that. I know how you're gonna act, right? I don't think you should analyze people. I don't think that you should know people to the point. I don't think every person you're gonna know to the point of how they react. But some people, your parents included, you're gonna know how they react because they've been around you for so long, right? And that brings us to the next subject. And for just finish on that point, for your friends, you chose to be friend with them. You chose to be. There was something about this person more than another one that made you their friends. Similar interests, and again, we're talking about like family, right? Similar interest, a similar situation. I got a lot of friends. I want you guys to think back about school, right? You have friends of school, then you moved away and you lost those friends. You had friends in high school, then you moved away and you lost those friends. You had friends at work. That's how being your friend when you stop working, right? Then you say, well, they weren't real friends. Well, yes and no. You can understand. Look at the nature corn, guys. Understand that those people are acting in a fashion of we're dealing with the same situation, we're working in the same place. There's the part of it is also an understanding of social behavior. I think forgiveness is a lot to do with social behavior, how you're acting, how you're reacting, how the person is acting, how the person is reacting, right? And a lot to do. With work, see, I think there's this effect of cohabitation. I want to cohabit with you because we're working together. And also the effect of we're in a shit situation together. Let's make the best out of it. That's the positive thinking. There's also friends that's like, ugh, I don't have a choice to deal with you, so let's at least make it at least enjoyable. See? And those friends, when you lose, when the only thing that you have in common, or one of the biggest things you have in common, goes away. There's a lot of family, a lot of people that have numerous siblings. Thinking about my cousins in particular. One of my uncle and aunt, they have 3 kids, and those 3 kids couldn't be more different. And those 3 kids only see each other when there's a family meal, when there's a family gathering, right? When their parents are making a supper. And you're seeing this and you understand that, yeah, but when those parents are gonna die, it's not gonna happen, you know? It's not gonna be good. You're gonna be like, ugh, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do, you know? So, forgiveness is important. Making sure, and that's actually the point that I didn't think about. Timing your forgiveness. That's actually super important. Do I forgive you right away? Do I forgive you in a week? Do I forgive you in a month? Do I forgive you before it's too late? Because there's a point, and this is the beautiful thing about forgiveness. It's so open-minded. It's so open to interpretation. I can understand that you did something wrong, and you don't understand it, and you said, I don't need to apologize. If I'm waiting for you to apologize, I'm not gonna get it. If I was big. I was my entire life. I was really big on fuck you. You don't think the way I am. You're an asshole. And I didn't take the time to tell people, hey, you're making me angry. So people would see me angry, they wouldn't know why. Because I wouldn't communicate the reason why I'm angry. I think for forgiveness, one of the things that you have to, before you even think about forgiving someone, if you're waiting for forgiveness, do they understand what they did wrong? That's one of the big points. If they just say sorry to say sorry, fuck you, that's not good enough. Now, what inspired, so I'm going to do like a side note, ADHD again. What inspired this situation? I got a person, right, in my life, a friend, who did something, and he didn't do something for me. He didn't do something to me. It's something like content creation, right? I asked a couple people, and those people didn't tell me. Didn't tell me. He kind of took my my lives as a dating thing. I had another person, and again, it's not that I'm only thinking about content because that's my obsession right now. That's my dream. That's my everything. That's my blood, sweat, and tears are content creation. I'm obsessed with it right now. That's all I think about. That's all I wake up sleeping about it. And I go to sleep. I wake up thinking about it, and I go to sleep thinking about it. That was hard. And that person it's a tough situation. There's that person in my life. He's been in my life for like a week now. And I fucking love that guy because he's nice to me. But then I got some mods who said to people, hey, tap the screen. And it helps the content creator. Yeah, on TikTok it helps when you tap the screen. And the person doesn't, which doesn't bother me because I don't want you to feel forced to tap. I want you to want to tap more than you feel forced to. then everybody else is doing it and then you're not. Or with this person in particular, you're gonna have multiple conversation. We're gonna talk about, for example, food, would you rather, anime. We're gonna talk about situation or I don't know. It doesn't matter the subject. And this guy's gonna bring it up to him. Gonna bring it up to him. He's gonna change the subject. For example, he has to move soon. We were talking about would you rather. You just interrupted the conversation to say, hey, I'm moving. And again, it's small things, right? But it's annoying. It's annoying me, and it's annoying for other people. But it didn't do anything to me. So what do I do in this situation? What do I do in this situation? Do I forgive the person? I don't think they understand it doing something bad. I don't think they understand. Right? I don't think so. People come up to lives and promoting their own content, which, hey, I know how hard it is to promote your content. I'm still a small channel after 3 years. And I know how hard it is to grow in this industry, right? But still, you're taking the social space of somebody to promote your own thing. And it sucks because I know in some cases those people don't give a shit about me. And I don't think that you're obligated to give a shit about me, but if you're fucking with the content, if you're coming into a live, usually it's because you give a shit about people in the live or the host. Usually, right? If you're, especially, I'm talking about TikTok because TikTok is kind of new for me, so it's still a period of understanding. If you're coming to Twitch, you might be here for the game. You're like, nah, I don't like that guy, so I'm just gonna leave, right? And if you like that game, that's totally fine. So let's go back to forgiveness. What do I do with that person that I don't understand they're doing something wrong? For a long ass time, I let people into my content. We're talking about content because we're obsessed with it. I let a lot of people in my content that I didn't want in because I knew they had a bad vibe. They had this bad, they have a gut feeling that those are not good people, right? Like, oh, I don't like that person coming to life, right? But then you're so desperate to grow, you're so desperate for those numbers, to let those people. And then this is one of the reasons why that guy was able to harass a lot of my female viewer, which wasn't cool. And it sucks because when I learned about it, I blocked the guy from everywhere. And he came to me and said, hey, I was always nice to you. And I felt bad about it. Even though what he did was horrible, I felt bad about it. Because he was nice to me. And my issue is, when it comes to forgiveness, I don't think he saw my live or my streams as a dating thing. It was just his only social interaction. And he was like, oh, that's when I'm going to meet a girl, right? And girls felt comfortable going to my stream because I wasn't flirting with them. I wasn't being sexual with them, right? Which, in a lot of cases, isn't the case. But let's come back to forgiveness, right? So forgiveness. I think one of the big part of forgiveness is understanding the intent, right? I am lucky that I have the friend that I have. I'm not always easy to deal with. I understand that I'm very impulsive. I understand that there's a lot of things that I do that are not okay. I understand that sometimes I'm aggressive. I had this situation a week ago. And my friend Janice, he was trying to help me, right? To fix up a stream. And I was getting aggravated at the situation. And I was being rude to him. But I was like already... With Janice has a horrible sleep schedule, right? It's not his fault. He has back issues, and it's hard for him to sometimes understand that I do have a horrible sleep schedule. So when you're friend with somebody, you know, like, oh, I think he goes to bed at the same time at this time around, but I always go to bed later or earlier. I never go to bed at the same time because again, I'm between work. So we're going in, and he kept on pushing for us to fix the stream, which was great. I was very thankful because if it was me, I would have gave up. And he was like, no, don't give up, we got this. And it took us 3 hours and a half, which meant that I was 3 hours and a half late, which meant I didn't do the live. And then I got a message that, hey, why aren't you live? And I'm like, dude, it's actually it's not helping my content. But then again, making the stream, is it a better thing? Is it a worse thing? I don't know. I have no clue. It's always a situation of priority, right? And you may think that you know priority, but you don't always know priority. And after 3 hours and a half, it wasn't working. I would have got mad, and it wasn't at him. It was that situation. I was rude with him, which I regret. Didn't mean to be rude with him. Even yesterday, I cut the live, and there were still people in. I should have kept the live going in, but I was so disappointed with the fact that we had such a beautiful time 2 days ago, and yesterday was kind of a mess. There were still people in. A part of me is very grateful those people came in, but at that time and space, I was like, nah, fuck it, we're not gonna. I'm pissed. I'm disappointed. I'm annoyed. Which ended the stream, right? Which wasn't okay. So going back, ADHD. So forgiveness, understanding the intent of a person, understanding that the way they're acting isn't them. They're under pressure. They're acting because of a certain situation. If somebody pushes you because they're an asshole, they're an asshole. If somebody pushes you because they don't understand that it's wrong, you can be like, oh, you're an asshole too. They don't understand it's wrong. For a lot of people, the intent, they do something wrong, right? But they had good intention. They tell another person that you did this, but they had good intention behind it. So you can be mad at them. And then you have forgiveness, which is also a time-related thing. We talked about this before. You're mad with somebody and you understand that they had bad intention. And it's tough because it's not because a person had bad intention once that it makes them a bad person. Bad person in my eyes is somebody that acts multiple times after they've been giving multiple chances and ways to hurt each other or hurt people. That's an asshole. And how do you forget that? How do you forgive that? You forgive them once. For me, once, shame on you. For me, twice, shame on me, right? And there's truth to this value. There's truth. I think as human, doesn't matter where you're from, I think we all ask ourselves this question of, should I forgive them? I had this, at work, I had this bully, right? And this bully understood nothing but anger and violence. And he would bully me because I was working with him. I was the only dude in the place that wouldn't say anything, that would complain to the boss, right? So he took the advantage of bullying me. And in my mind, I was like, dude, as long as I just have to ignore him, right? I had music. I didn't really care. Then the next day, I would come back and I was always forgiving. I was always going to forgive him. And then there's moments where I realized I took it for granted. Hey, why you're still mad? We got angry yesterday. Usually you forgive me the next day. I don't have to forgive you. I forgive you because I think I'm a good person. I forgive you because we're working together and I don't have a choice but to work with you. So I'd rather have a good time than a bad time, right? And it sucks because that person took advantage of the fact that I was forgiving him. Now, if I didn't forgive him, he would have still been an asshole, right? It would have still been an asshole for sure. But I would have been not as open as I was to it. And also the fact that I only had those people at that place. At that time, I wasn't making content. I only had those people as friend, as social interaction. You start craving those. You start being needy of those. Well, this is my only social interaction. Let's make it a good one, right? You force yourself to have subject that you don't want, conversation that you don't want to have. There's a lot of abuse in high school where I was part of a group, right? And I didn't have a lot of friends. And sometimes they would make fun of me. And I would allow it because I didn't have any friends. Which in the case is, fuck you, you don't make fun of me. Again, for the live, I have these 4 trolls, right? And they always come in. And it sucks because they're very young. So I always forgive them because they're young, they don't know better. And I got Janice again and said, hey, don't forgive them, bro. They're a bunch of shithead. So it's a hard thing. Forgiveness should be considered. What I'm trying to say is, understand who you're. I think the most important part is understanding who you're forgiven, more than the action. We're talking about Prime right now, right? We did a review on Prime, which has one of the mascots. It's not the creator; it's a mascot. Had multiple chances in life, and people kept forgiving him, and then he was still allowed to be in. And it sucks because you're like, dude, by forgiving this person, we're showing them, hey, it's okay if you do that. There's this other guy, right? Right now, it's a huge debate. It's a huge scandal. There's other creator, Boogie298, and Boogie took whatchamacallit. He did a scam, right? And he was like, oh, I scam my viewer. And Boogie lately has been in hot water because he keeps on. Oh, I told this story yesterday, right? He's in hot water because he keeps on doing bad things, and he's like, "Oh, well, I have this excuse." When there's time to be mad at somebody, he doesn't care. when it's time to take part. Like, oh, are you for or are you against it? He goes in the middle, and people are mad about that with him. And then he had this whole time, right? And he had this whole thing that he's scam his fan. And then as an excuse, he used cancer as an excuse. And now it's coming out lately that he might not have cancer. So do you forgive somebody like that? But then again, the only reason, and again, he's a local, which is a group of people that we're making fun of. Is he like that because we pushed him to be like that? And if he is, can we forgive him? Look at somebody like Chris Chan. Complete nutcase, but we made him a nutcase. Can you forgive that? Right? Understanding a person has a lot to do with the, can I forgive you? Should I not forgive you? Has a lot to do with that. It has a lot to do with that. It's mostly that, to be honest. And yeah, this video is long enough, I think. So the final answer, when should I forgive? When you feel like it's right, trust yourself, trust your bravado. And if you're not sure, right? If you should forgive somebody, look around. That's gonna be the best advice I'm gonna give you this video. Look around. If this person doesn't keep people around, if everybody's mad at that person, there's a reason, right? There's a reason. I have to understanding who that person is. Are they a good person that just made a wrong move? Or are they a person that you thought was good that did another wrong move? That's very different. Just be conscious, or pay attention to how people act with others. I always had this knowledge of, if you want to see if a person is a good person, look at how they treat their parents. First of all, look at how they treat employees. So when they go to the cashier, when they go to the waiter, go to the restaurant, the waiter, a dresser, how you treat the employees is super telling of who you are. A lot of people are gonna say, "Yeah, I'm paying you for a service. I don't need to be nice." You're serving for the employee. You have to be human with the human. It's past relationship between customer and client. It's human versus human, right? And that sucks. That sucks. And another example of this exact thing. I'm a very loyal person. The same tattoo artist did a lot of my tattoos. There was this one time where he was high. I'm not gonna say who he is. He was high, and I let him tattoo me, and the tattoo didn't turn out great. So if you look here, see the level, and you see the level here, it's different. And that's for life. And I didn't get mad at him. Then I don't know if he thought I didn't care, but then he stopped paying attention to what he was doing. So look at the difference, right? Look at the difference. This is a rose. Look at the detail, look how nice it is. And this is a rose, and look at the detail, look how, understand? Look at this. And then look at this. Completely different. It takes two other people that did it. Stop giving a shit, and I forgive him, and that's my fault. It's my fault. There's such a thing as being too forgiving. Such a thing. Wanna know how fucked up the world is? You wanna know what's the craziest thing? People will tell you if you're forgiving too often, if you're forgiving too many people. I was told I'm a person that says I am sorry too often. We had this. And if you don't forgive enough, nobody will care. We're gonna say he's an asshole. He didn't forgive me. He's very vengeful. The very concept of this channel was in vendetta. Vendetta is vengeance. Vengeance and being forgetful or forgiving people isn't the same thing. If you look at this thing, why this subject is so important? If you look at this, forgive, but never forget. I love you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for making this far. Love y'all. Take it easy. Peace.